Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 school committee meeting. My name is Ryan McMahon. I call this meeting to order. We'll start with introductions to my left.
Hi, Student Rep Cameron Times.
Rob Mullen.
Eric Bushman.
Hi, Mike Woodlock, Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, Mike Flanagan, Superintendent.
Becky Stanton.
Danielle Athanas.
Stacy Guido.
Anthony Tenorella.
Joe Messina, Business Administrator.
Dan Hogan, Assistant Business Administrator.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder, these meetings are audio and video recorded. I will seek a motion to approve the March 23rd, 2026 tri-board minutes, the March 24th policy subcommittee minutes, the March 24th superintendent's evaluation subcommittee minutes, the March 24th school committee minutes, and the March 24th executive session minutes not to be released at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries 7-0-0. Citizen time? See none. Correspondence, Dr. Flanagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your drive tonight, you will find a letter from Mrs. Kavanaugh thanking Mr. Mike Alexa for making a significant donation to the elementary enrichment program on behalf of his nephew in grade 2. So thank you, Mr. Alexa, for the donation. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take 9A out of order.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries. Turn it over to Mr. Marringer.
School committee members and other people in the room, thank you so much for having us here today. We really appreciate it. We have 3 7th graders and 3 8th graders who were posed the question of what you like about the new school compared to the old school. They all were in the old school and now obviously in the new school. They were all recommended by their teachers as being good public speakers and wonderful students. So I am going to step back and I'm going to start with Scarlett, and she's going to run you through some of the things that she really enjoys about being in the new building. Thank you.
I'm Scarlett Bells. I'm an 8th grader, and one thing I like most about the new middle school is the gym. Instead of having to walk all the way over to the high school and share the gym with high schoolers, we have a whole space to ourselves with new equipment like volleyball nets and rapid sports. Another thing I enjoy about the new middle school is the neighborhood. It's a quiet space where you can work independently or with groups with multiple seatings like comfy chairs and tables.
Hi, my name is Caroline Tamari. I'm an 8th grade. And one of my favorite things about the new middle school is the cafetorium. The table designs are really helpful for everyone sitting to be included and engaged in conversations. And in the old school, it was really hard to talk to people on other sides of the benches because of the setup. And also in really nice weather, it's really nice to be able to eat lunch outside after a long day of school. And in the old school, we didn't have that opportunity. And one of my favorite things is the stage aspect because I'm a part of the theater program. And this year we did Addams Family, which I was a part of. And it was really nice to have an opportunity to have people working in the high school stage and actors working in the middle school stage. And one of my other favorite things is the art room. And the storage is great for keeping art organized as well as art supplies. And in the old school, a lot of work would be lost because of the lack of storage. And also the tables and different places to work are really great for having multiple spaces, as well as the sinks for cleanup. It makes cleanup so much more efficient, and we have time to work on our artwork longer. And the sinks they don't clog very easily, so that's great. And also the kiln gives us a great opportunity for new art skills. And in 8th grade, we did a new unit on ceramics, and that was a great thing to learn about. And in the old building, we didn't have access to a kiln.
My name is Brady Nugent, and I'm an 8th grader. I really enjoyed the media studies room. It has all of the advanced items like cameras or audio and recording devices, where basically if you want to be on talent, you can practice with that. And if you really wanted to be in the control room and learn about the technology, it can be great. And I think it can help out with future career ideas like videography, photography, acting, like weather people. And it's great compared to the old media studies room just because it has so many more advanced items, and the other room was just a plain old room with a projector. Next up, I really enjoy the STEM room because of all the advanced materials like table saws and other items. It's very spacious so that everybody can move around and nobody's gonna trip or walk in somebody's way. I think it can help out with advancing in science, technology, and engineering way better than the old school just because of how Mr. Belrose, our teacher, is able to teach us more about the materials in the classroom.
Hi, my name is Sophia Gomar, and I'm a 7th grade student at Tyngsborough Middle School. One of my favorite new admins is the neighborhood. It's an area in each hallway with flexible seating, booths, table, and high tops, and whiteboards. It's an area where students can work together in groups and individually. This new addition provides many more seating areas and a fun place to sit with friends and do work. An area like this was not an option at the old school. It was either you work in a classroom or work in the halls, and there was never the amount of room we have now for a quiet place to work. The cafeteria is another great place. The cafeteria? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
The cafeteria is a big surprise. The upgrade from the old cafeteria to the new one is impressive. Though with the variety of seating options inside and out, the seating options range from booth to 2-seater high tops, round tables and long tables to fit all your friends, and a sturdy picnic tables outside to enjoy the spring, which was never an option at the old school. It was the same tables, but here it's different. You get a different way to sit every day. Inside where you can get your lunch, there's so many great options to choose from. And then,
Hi, I'm Rebecca Coy, and I'm in 7th grade. The Tyngsborough Theater program has benefited from gaining a new school. For example, some examples of this are spaces we can now access to practice in. For example, we have a black box theater that can be used for practicing, acting, and dancing. Also, the cafeteria has a good stage for lights and putting on shows. Over the fall this year, Tyngsborough did a show called The Serenade Supper. This was a dinner theater show that had actors singing and dancing while serving food. We used the cafeteria stage to block songs and the black box to practice in, and we were able to have a fun experience while growing stronger as a program and a community. Similarly, we used the cafetorium during our main stage competition performances due to its accessibility. Numbers for the Addams family were blocked in the middle school while we were unable to use the high school's auditorium. This year, we also got a new band room. Similarly, it increased the opportunities available to band members of the program. We benefited from new instruments in the band room that enabled us to play more songs. For example, we can now use bells, pipes, and more bass drums. Before the new school was built, band students had to carry their instruments over to the high school to play. We also had to share our auditorium space with the high schoolers while practicing for our concerts. This was less of a problem this year. Over the school year, we performed 2 in-school concerts, one during Halloween and one during Christmas on our cafetorium stage.
Hi, my name is Baxter Bouchard, and I'm here to talk about flexible seating in the new middle school, and I'm in 7th grade. If you're in math applications with Miss Aringas, you have 3 wobbly stools and 4 rocking chairs, and a lot of bright red chairs. This helps kids that have ADHD or just need to move to think well and fast. Most kids don't want to sit in rows. With old school chairs, kids want to be able to move around more flexible without being a distraction to our learning. Another room that uses different flexible seating is the media center. They have a lot of chairs that have desks in front of them that are connected to the chairs. There's a booth for 2 that looks like a little tent structure, and you have desks that are in shapes that I can't even explain. This also helps with kids that need to move and think while not distracting your class. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, tremendous job. I will open up to questions from the committee.
I have a question for Baxter. What is your favorite seat in the flexible seating spaces?
I would say the little tent structure in the media center, because that thing with the big light, because that helps you elaborate with your classmates without being able to yell over to the old, like the old school. You would have to yell over to like another table.
And when do you get to go there? During what classes?
We usually go during music, or if you're in like art or a theater.
That's awesome. Thanks. You did an excellent job, all of you presenting. So thank you for sharing with me.
So I have a question, so Caroline, you said the sinks don't clog easy. How hard have you tried to clog the sinks?
Well, in the old school, it would be really easy to clog the sinks for just paint falling down them or even like a paintbrush. But in these sinks, they have almost like a garbage disposal, so it like eliminates any waste that gets down there.
Nice. Is there anything you guys miss about the old school? Wow, all right.
Stunned silence is very revealing.
I didn't really have any questions, but I just wanted to say that I thought y'all did a really great job. It was easy to hear all of you and understand what you were saying. And I liked that each one of you picked like kind of a different aspect that the old school didn't have, a lot of these more flexible learning spaces. And you talked about how you're accessing them and how they help you learn, or you know, ways they can help kids in the future with career ideas or decisions for down the road. So I really liked that you guys did that and highlighted a lot of the new things in the new building. So good job.
I have one quick question. A few of you guys mentioned the cafeteria and you talked about the seating. Do you feel like the flow of the actual lunch service has changed or improved, or what the food you're getting has changed or improved with the new bigger kitchen and like line space as well? Because I know having two middle schoolers at home, they like talked about that a little bit last year, like, oh, it's always clogged. Do you feel like that's improved? And do you feel like as a result you now have like more or less time when you have your lunch to socialize and stuff?
I found that it's improved, and I found that I've gotten my food much quicker rather than the old middle school, because there's more workers there and there's like more options to like get around in the lunch line.
Yeah, and I feel like there's like much more like areas for like last year it was kind of just like a long table and everything was right in front of you, but now there's like different areas where you can get like different like options like salads, pizzas, or like the other options or like drinks and stuff.
I noticed that people aren't running to go get lunch because there's so much more lunch. Like, you don't have to run to go get the cheese pizza.
Right.
Any other comments, questions?
I'd just like to say you guys did a great job, but what I like particularly too is how each of you picked different options to show what's available for our students. I think that's great, and the ability of the community to be able to see that, so thank you.
Yeah, I think that was a nice commercial. We could clip that right there, put it out to the community, and really thank the community for their support with this project, because it really is transformational. We kind of said that all along, but the other school just, it wasn't conducive to learning, and to hear you guys talk with such excitement, it was great. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of touring the school on Friday, and I got to see a lot of these things in person. The media studies room, there was a group of kids in there using the green screen doing the weather report. But it's not just the student in front of the camera. There's somebody around the camera. There's guys in the control room, and they're communicating on walkie-talkies. It was like a real setup. It was really cool to see that. And the teacher had so much energy and passion. It was fun to see. Yeah, I think the other thing about the school that I really noticed is it just feels bigger and brighter. When you don't feel so claustrophobic like you did in the old school. Do you guys notice that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, my school was a square.
What was that?
The box.
A small box.
Thank you for coming out tonight. You guys are amazing. If you sit right there, we'll take a break.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take a short recess.
Second?
Discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
We're just
welcome back to the already in progress school committee meeting. We are now at item 5, personnel. Dr. Flanagan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have 2 personnel action items. We have a notification of intent to retire Mrs. Downey after 18 years of service at Tyngsborough Middle School. And we also have a notification of a resignation from Kayla Souza, paraprofessional of the elementary school.
Thank you. Good luck to both of them. Share the success. Cam?
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to keep this short and entertaining because it's impossible to follow those guys up. So last week, TES had so much to celebrate in our school community. We recognized our incredible paraprofessionals on Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. Our building relies on them each and every day, and we are so grateful for all they do. Our grade 2 team brought reading to life with a fun masked reader assembly, where teachers disguised their voices and wore costumes while reading to students. This special event created lots of excitement around reading for our students while they had to guess who the mystery readers were. We got some school committee meeting shout outs here. Our grade level leaders appreciated the opportunity for Michael Woodlock, Becky Staten, and Ryan McMahon to visit classrooms and see firsthand the creativity, innovation, and engagement our teachers bring to their students each day. The 8th graders are getting ready for their trip to DC next week. Middle school softball, baseball, and track started last week. 6th and 7th grade students are taking their ELA MCAS test this week, and the 8th grade students finished their ELA MCAS last week. Juniors recently took the SAT exam and should expect results in 3 to 4 weeks through College Board. HOSA, which is the Future Health Professional Club, attended and competed in the state conference at Worcester State University over the weekend. Great job by all involved. Seniors can once again earn the state seal of biliteracy by demonstrating proficiency in literacy in 2 or more languages, a partner language and English, as measured by state-approved assessments. Students should reach out to Ms. Mello with any questions. Good luck to our spring athletes and teams as the spring season recently got underway. And congratulations to the April Student of the Months, Edwin Akaboa, Will Madison, Kaylin Meek, and Rahi Patel. Thank you.
Thanks, Cam. All right. Subcommittee, no update at this time. Unfinished business, teaching and learning. Mr. Woodlock?
Yeah, thank you. So this is just really for your information, just an update. As I brought to you before, our Student Opportunity Act is something that we need to submit with DESE every 3 years. We are in year 3 of 3. We had a submission date that has come and gone. Our update for this year was submitted. Just an update on that. We don't need to have any action on it. As a reminder, our main goal throughout this has been strengthening our multi-tiered systems of support. We've done a lot of work on that, so we had plenty to submit. But you can expect next year, right around this time, we'll be submitting our new SOA that you will need to approve. So just a heads up on that. That's all for me.
Thank you.
As far as teaching and learning.
First read, cell phone policy. Bert?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank the subcommittee, Mr. Guido, Mrs. Danis, and Mr. Woodlock. We had some good discussion on this. The policy itself was passed on a 2-1 vote. So there's some room for discussion on this. I would say, looking at the state right now, they're probably on their 6th or 7th version of this. And yesterday they said they're looking to maybe combine a social media policy restricting those under 14 with the cell phone policy, as well as the governor wanting to come out with her own bill on that. So we'll see where it goes. Plus, it may be pushed out toward October 1st as opposed to September. But this is basically the summary of what we have.
Yeah, I know you have the opportunity to look at it in our backup. But generally, and this is certainly not comprehensive, but what the expectations will be at TES is really not much of a change. At TES, they're not expected to have cell phones. I know some students may have them, but it really is inconsequential as far as the day-to-day. As we look forward in what this looks like, TMS students will not have, under this proposed policy, will not have access to their cell phones for most of the day. The expectation will be they'll be off and away, either in their lockers or in their backpacks. And at THS, they will have access to their cell phones through much of the day, but during the class, their expectation is that they will place them in a secure or a designated spot within the classroom, and they won't be able to access them. There are exceptions, of course. At this school, at the middle school, and at the high school, there are often times when students do utilize cell phones for academic purposes, and the teachers encourage and allow that. That is not expected to change, but it would need to be with the express permission of the teacher or teachers in charge. Violations, so what happens when a student violates the policy? That needed to be part of our proposal as well. And I want to make sure that we're clear on this. These are willful violations of the policy. So should I be a student at the high school and my phone's on my desk and the bell rings and I simply forgot to put it up there? That's not technically a violation. The expectation would be the teacher would say, please put your phone where it belongs. So the purpose of this would not be to catch students. Discipline isn't a major issue at the high school. Certainly we have discipline issues, but generally our kids follow the rules. And so if we're clear about what the expectations are, we think that our students would adapt rather quickly, as we've heard that many students in other districts have. But the first offense would be simply a warning from the administration if it was a willful violation. What else could be a willful violation? Students like taking the phone, leaving the classroom with it so that they can access the phone or text folks or whatever. Students that would bring a phone that doesn't actually work and place that where the phones are supposed to be so they can keep access to the phone. We call them burner phones. These are things that we've heard from other districts that have had instituted cell phone policies. So the first offense, if it was a willful violation, a warning from the administration, they would be notified. Second offense, a student might lose access to their phone for the day, would be held in the office. Third offense may be when a student arrives to school, they have to check their phone in at the office, and they can receive it when they leave school. So that would be if a student simply just wouldn't follow the rules. What I will say on these things is we're trying to figure out what's the best protocol for us to utilize. This is the proposal. We think this can work, but obviously we haven't done this before. And the last bullet there, just comparison to other districts' policies. We've included some of those as part of the process to look at what other schools are doing. I would rate this proposal as very much leaning towards more lenient than most that we've seen. Certainly there are some schools that just say like they should be off and away, you can have them whenever you want. I know my daughter goes to a school that does that, and I think it works okay. She certainly gets back to me pretty quickly if I text her. So, but I think most of the policies that we did look at and had access to were quite a bit more strict than ours. Last thing just to mention, and certainly open it up to discussion, students will have access to phones at the high school and the middle school at certain times during the day. So at the middle school, we put in there that students will have access at a designated portion of the lunch period, knowing that there are times when parents want to make sure that a student gets a message. Maybe they're going, someone else might be picking them up that they didn't expect, or practice got changed and they want them to come home, or whatever it happens to be. When students get to be 12, 13, 14 years old, sometimes they need to get some messages and have the ability to communicate during the day. At the high school, students will have access during lunch and in passing periods, passing time in between periods. So they also have jobs, they have sports communications that go out there, checking in with parents. So to have that and kind of have the ability to utilize that at a more adult level is the graduated expectation there. So.
I would say, if a parent needs to contact the student, they could contact the central office at the school. They would then get in contact with the student and either the student could use their own phone or the phone there. And I think, as Mr. Woodlock said, as we're looking at some of the other policies, they went from warnings maybe for the first 2 offenses to detention for the first two. So runs the wide gamut, and I think this is pretty much in the middle, but certainly open it up for the committee.
If nobody minds, I'd like to go first. I just want to be very honest and upfront that I was the one that voted not in favor of bringing this for first read. I realize that we have to have a cell phone policy, and I'm in favor of having a cell phone policy. I'm just not in support of this policy as it's currently written. And changes were made. The first draft we had, I had, you know, a lot of issues with, and thank you, Mr. Woodlock. You definitely listened to all my concerns and made changes. I would say that obviously because I voted no, I'm still not in favor. One thing I do want to say, well, thank you for putting this together. I just, for the other school committee members, when you read the policy, which I hope you guys do read it, that first offense where it says warning is slightly misleading. The policy doesn't actually state the word about giving warnings at all. There's no place in the policy that says, sorry, I'm sick, that warnings will be given. The first offense is actually notifying administrators.
It was what?
Notifying administrators. So if you actually read the
Yes, so
policy.
I guess just for clarification, and I apologize if it was not clear, the warning would be provided by the administrator.
Okay.
So
okay.
the administrator would be notified, they'd
No,
give them
that's fine.
a verbal warning.
Yeah.
Certainly, we want to make sure that there's a clear expectation in willful violation. So
Right.
I want to make that really clear. Like if a student simply forgets at the beginning of class to put their phone where it belongs, it's not a violation of the policy, and they shouldn't receive a warning from the administrator for that. It should be just the teacher reminding them.
No, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody, and if anybody at home is watching, that a warning doesn't mean, because like when you read that, you might think like that the policy says that the teacher will give a warning first offense and say, you know, this also doesn't say anything about what's talked about in the policy as a designated area where the phones have to be put. So I just want to make sure that everybody is very clear about what this policy says. It doesn't actually talk about warnings from teachers.
Okay.
It talks about going right to the administrator on a first offense.
We could probably clean that language up a little bit, right, if we have to.
So process-wise, this is a first read. If it gets approved for first read, everyone has an opportunity to weigh in and get communication to the members of the policy subcommittee for their input, and it can be cleaned up for second read and final read, so.
Yep.
Sure.
Mr. Warlock, does it say willful violation?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
And do we need to define willful?
I mean, I don't think it would be, I don't know if we could say all of the things that would be considered willful, but we could certainly provide examples of what a willful violation would be. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Mullen, do you have a question?
Thank you. I'll first apologize. I haven't heard a word anybody has said all night. So Stacy, if I'm repeating some stuff that you said, I apologize for this. I'm very disappointed in this policy. I'm fine with the elementary kids not having any access, and I have no problem with the high school students having access at different times during the day. I believe they're more mature, and I believe that they have the right to be able to have some time at access. Several months ago, we had a very long conversation about this before the policy board started talking about this and reviewing other schools' policies. The conversation led to the middle school students where it was stated that this is the group who is most affected by conversations online, social media, and cause the most problems during the day in school. I don't believe that middle school students should have any access at all. to their phones strictly for this. You know, Mr. Woodlock stated that sometimes it's needed for things in the classroom. All of the kids in our schools have devices, either school-supplied devices or computers that they bring in. I don't think they do bring them in, but they have laptops, computers they get to use in school. Anything that they want to do on the phone, they can do it on that computer. So I don't think this policy goes far enough. I mean, we're even admitting that the policy is significantly more lenient. I think we're just asking for problems with this. Now, I understand that we don't want to put teachers in a place where they're police officers in their classrooms. It's difficult enough doing the job that they have right now. But there are times, and I've seen it in the schools that I've worked in, I've seen it, you know, here as well, because I used to work in the classroom here years ago, where cell phones are a problem. The kids don't listen to the teachers, especially when you're a sub, they don't listen to you. And it can cause issues. They stop paying attention. And I believe when you get that first offense, I think that's when the administration needs to get brought in. The student needs to be spoken to in the classroom. I don't think it should be done in the office. And just to set the example for the other students. But that's all I have with that one. Thank you for listening.
I just want to, can I just answer Rob real quick, if you don't mind?
Quickly.
I encourage you, if you haven't already, to read.
It's not coming,
okay.
I'm sorry.
To read the policy, Rob, because this.
I did read the policy.
Okay, this is kind of a simplification of it.
I understand that,
And
yes.
I will say, having kids in all three schools, many teachers already have steps for classroom management with cell phones that are working. You know, they've used their own kind of classroom management style. Some teachers already have a organizer at the front of the class that kids have to put their cell phone in, and they report that it works, and they don't need to alert admin if there's an offense. They're managing it in their classroom. So I think it can be done. I think we can write the policy to work for what we need without having to call administration on every situation. And I worry that if we don't write the policy more clearly, there will be teachers that the very first time they see a kid's cell phone, they will immediately call the office. And I don't want to see that happen, because as a past teacher, you are taught your classroom management is to manage your classroom, and you don't send every issue immediately to the office. And I don't want to see that happen. I think our administrators are busy, and I don't want to overload them. But yeah, anyways, I'll
So,
let
Mr.
everybody
Chair,
else speak.
sorry. So if I could just offer a few words here. I don't know that we're ever going to write the policy that everyone wants, because I don't think we can agree at this table what everyone wants, whether we're too strict or too lenient. The fact of the matter is, we need a policy, and we need something in place. We have options. We can try this. We can pilot this. We can collect data with this and have the administrators come back and report out what it's to look like. We have to understand policy, as I was in charge of policy for 16 years. We cannot legislate protocol and practice. Policy is the overarching. The practicality and how it works and how it lives in the schools, the protocol, that's for the administration to carry out. So I think we need to dive in somewhere and gather some data and come back and have another conversation about this, maybe after it's been in place for 2 months. I don't know that we're going to get to something that we can specifically point to every little thing that's going to happen. We need an umbrella policy, which says these are expectations. Let's see how it works. Let's get some feedback, and then say, we need to adjust here, we need to adjust there. That being said, we don't have to do anything tonight because we have to do a second read on this at our next meeting. So I would encourage everyone at the table, if we can approve it as a first read tonight and opine and give your opinions to the policy subcommittee, maybe we can come back again with a better option or better clarification. But I don't think we're gonna get 7 people that say, that's exactly what I want in the policy. I think we need to jump in at some point and kind of see where we go. Those are my thoughts.
So based on that comment that policies are more like overarching, are the warnings appropriate for a policy? Like
I would say if the policy subcommittee believes they are, I would say they are. I fear that we're gonna do nothing and get stuck with what the state wants. And whatever the state puts on is what we're gonna live by. So I think we need to come up with something, and if this is a 2-1 out of the policy subcommittee, maybe we can wordsmith a little bit more, Stacy, so you're more comfortable with it between first read, second read, and come back at the next meeting and kind of see where we are at that point.
I think
Just a
we run
thought.
the gamut as what we've seen with the other districts.
Right.
Be it either very lenient or very stringent, and I think we've got the same kind of opinions, I think all of us have.
it's a tough topic. Did you reach out to the teachers union at all to get feedback from them?
We surveyed all of the teachers in the district, as well as the parents and the students. So, as you can imagine, we shared them. And you probably don't remember all of what they said, but it was pretty all over the place. You know, like there were some expectations for students weren't that thrilled about it. Teachers were pretty thrilled about it, and parents were all over the map on what they thought generally. So.
Yeah, so we don't currently have a cell phone policy in place.
Correct.
So we really didn't give the teachers anything to stand on to enforce cell phone usage in the schools. I would rather start a little bit lighter, give them the warnings, let the teachers do what they do, give them this policy that says, hey, if first warning, second warning, like, they have the ability to say, you know, now you have to lose your phone for the day, third time, you're checking in, checking out. I'm not a big fan of the pouches. I think that's gonna lead to lost learning time, because now everybody's gonna gather up there, and it's a thing, and then beginning of every class, you're losing learning time. I think if you tell the kids, put them in your bag, and if I see them, we have a policy, I think I would rather trial that and see if that's enough, but that's where I'm at.
Just a couple of things to throw out there that we did talk about during the subcommittee meeting as well. Rob, you mentioned the devices during class time. In the middle school, they actually do use the devices for things the Chromebooks are not capable of. So like my kids have had assignments during class time where they have to make a movie, and it's which kid in the group has a phone. And that's the kid that now has to make the movie and upload it to Google Classroom and send it by email, because they don't have the capability on the Chromebooks to do something like making a movie as an assignment, whereas a phone does have that capability. So there is an in-classroom use case for using a phone in class in middle school. And the other thing that makes it tricky is that because we're so small and we operate as a campus, to Stacy's point that she brought up in the meeting about kids like having practices and stuff, there's a lot of cross-pollination here. We've got 7th and 8th graders that are playing junior varsity and varsity sports. That isn't necessarily the case in a bigger campus in some of the other towns and districts. So those are things I think that we have to consider with the middle school cell phone policy, which is why the limited access was more of the important thing rather than just no middle school students having access. And then I just wanted to reiterate what Dr. Flanagan said. We have nothing right now. And so we can revisit this in 2 months or a year. To me, it was more important to have something just to put out there, which is why I voted in favor of it, that we can say, this is a start, but we want our fingerprint on it. And to Dr. Flanagan's point, not Desi's fingerprint. So that was why I voted in favor, and just some other things to think about as well.
Yeah, I see this as a living document, and until we pilot it, we really are not going to know how everything really flows out. And I think if we can do that before the end of the school year, then we can make some changes too within it.
Can I just ask from a process standpoint, if it passes tonight, it goes to second read. In between tonight and second read, there's an opportunity for feedback?
Yes.
If it doesn't pass tonight, I would assume that there's still an opportunity for feedback for it to be brought back for a first read.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to, people have feedback, I'll be glad to coordinate all of that and send it out to everyone.
Okay. I
If I could, Mr. Chair, I guess my question is more towards Stacy as far as, it seems like are we only focusing on the violation side of it, or are there other things in this policy that you don't like?
There were a few things, but the violations were a big one. It seems a little murky about policy and procedure, what we're saying in this policy. Like, are we setting procedure in this policy? And what that, like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned that it goes to administration a little too quickly. And then there were some other small things, like kids not being able to take their phone to the nurse if they go to the nurse because they're sick. Things like that, that I didn't like the idea of their phone having to stay in the pouch system in the high school classroom, and they go to the nurse because they're sick. And then they're sick and they're being dismissed, but they're gonna go back to the classroom to pick up their phone. Those kinds of things, I just, there were other policies we read that I was more comfortable with from other towns. That's all.
So, we need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the cell phone policy for first read.
Second?
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed. So it's 1, 2, 3,
4
4.
fails.
So it's 4-3, it fails. So I want to thank the policy subcommittee. I know you guys have put a lot of work. This is a very tough policy, so this isn't a vote against the work you're doing. I'll certainly give you guys some feedback, this week.
Yeah, like I said, we go out to
Can I ask
coordinate
for
and
a
put
count?
out.
I thought it was 4-3 the other way.
We can do roll call. Roll call?
Nay.
Yay.
Nay?
Nay.
Yay.
Nay.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to make sure.
What was your vote?
He said yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
All right. Moving on, new business. Dr. Flanagan.
Sorry, just process on that. People are going to provide input to the policy subcommittee about their thoughts and concerns.
Yes.
And if we can come back with a first read at some point, whether it's next meeting, the meeting after, we will come back at some point.
Yeah,
So
I think we all agree we need something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only have 3 meetings left in the year, so.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just say one more thing. I know I don't have any children left in the school district. They're all older and out. But as a member of this committee for the last 14 years, I've tried to make every vote based on how it affects 1,600 children, 200 staff members, not how it affects my child personally. And I hope that when we're discussing these policies and making our votes and reading this stuff, that we think of the entire student population and the teachers, and not just how it affects us personally. That was just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Flanagan?
Yes. Where are we?
Sorry, item 9A, TMS presentation.
9A happened. We'll go to 9B.
Oh, sorry.
9B is adjustment to the school calendar. So here, I was hesitant today as the snow was coming down to say that June 17th is the last day of school. But fingers crossed, right now, this is where we are after our snow time this year. So right now, June 17th, Wednesday, will be an early release day as it is per contract, and that is the last day of school. So that's where we are. We do have one more snow day that we can use on the 18th. Let's not use it, though. So that's where we are, just an update on that.
Excellent. All right, finance, Mr. Messina.
So I heard very positive feedback about Mr. Hogan taking over finance in my absence, so I am going to defer to Mr. Hogan for the finance packet.
Thank you, Mr. Messina.
Punted.
For signing of bills tonight, there were 6 warrants for you to sign. The warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts were in your drive, as usual. I did want to bring your attention briefly to 2 corrected warrants from the March 24th meeting. This was due to an invoice that was coded to the school committee budget that should have been coded to the cafeteria revolving account, but that was something that we corrected internally, and there's nothing needed from you on that. For signing of payroll, we do not have any tonight, and that is it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. School committee discussion, Cam.
I'm all set, thank you.
Well, I'm sure the kids did a wonderful job tonight. I'll have to watch this meeting on TV so I know what they said. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, middle school kids were excellent. It's really nice to see the gamut of options that they're taking, you know. And I think, as you said, Dr. Flanagan, it's almost like a great ad for middle school. And appreciate all of the discussion on the policy. If people can maybe over next week send your feedback to me, I'll put it all together. I'm not going to include names and send it back to folks, and then we can see where we are. Thank you.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Mr. Hogan?
Nothing for me, thank you.
I'm all set, sir. Thank you.
I'll echo the thank you to the middle school kids, Mr. Messenger, and their parents for bringing them out this evening. It's why we do this, so thank you.
Just quickly, thank you for the students that came in and presented tonight. It's always nice to have the kids come in. People at home can listen to us, but to actually hear it from the students that are in the schools every day, I think they do a great job representing what our schools are doing.
Just echoing the same thank you to the middle school kids for coming out tonight. They always do such a good job. It's always the highlight of the season to have the different groups of kids come in and chat with us. Thank you to everybody for your feedback on the policy stuff. Looking forward to seeing what you guys send Bert so we can keep knuckling down and getting this done. I just generally speaking, I appreciate working on a committee that's incredibly respectful with each other for stuff like this, even when we are split down the middle. It's you hear about other districts, and so I just want to thank all of us, you, whatever, for being reasonable humans. I appreciate that a lot. So.
I had the honor of walking through our schools late last week, and just want to thank all of our incredible staff. You know, the first thing that I noticed in every school was how clean and shiny it is, so thank you to our custodial staff for that. At TES, it was great to see the grade level content leaders and the tremendous work that they were doing in their classroom, engaging those students. Every one of those classrooms, the students were ultra engaged. At TMS, we observed the same feedback that we received from the students, and the theme there is space. Whether it's more space, different space, unique space, they just have the space to do with the learning that they need to do. So thank you to the community for that space. At THS, I was really happy to see the collaboration between our school community and the Tyngsborough Fire Department. We had the fire department in-house teaching a lesson on emergency response to our students. And, you know, the schools are a community space, and there's a lot of community collaboration. And so, you know, thanks to our fire department. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I also didn't thank our police departments. You know, I saw SRO Gustafson while we were walking through the halls of the school. At THS, they're also utilizing space. So, you know, I observed Mr. Redmond's class was in the classroom and in the library. And so being able to break out and have that space to do that creative writing was really great to see. And then lastly, thank you to the administration, Mr. Messina, for the work on getting that new CAF space in the high school. It was being used by a classroom while we were there for a lesson, which was pretty cool, and it's just cool seating. Like, it was just really modern and nice, and it was great to see it firsthand. So that was kind of my observations.
Becky copied my notes. That's everything I had written down. So, I'll add to that. The one thing that I forgot about is the students at the elementary school, especially the younger kids, everything is running and jumping. That's how they move. They just run and then they jump and they land on their knees. Like, I was having a panic attack watching that. So thank you to everybody who walked us around, all the classrooms we visited. You know, it was somewhat of a disruption, but the kids actually handled it well. They looked at us and they went about their business. Tremendous learning, tremendous teaching. You know, about the fire department, I wonder how much other stuff goes on that we just happen to be in school that day, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have known about it, we wouldn't have heard about it. But these things happen daily in our schools, and there's nobody out there saying, hey, look at everything we're doing. It's just it's part of the culture, and I think we're very fortunate to have that and those relationships. Thank you to TMS for coming tonight. We always love when the students come. I want to wish the 8th graders good luck in DC next week. It's the highlight of most kids' school careers, so have fun. And good luck to the spring sports as they kick off.
All
Dr.
right,
Flanagan.
I get to go last. All right, so last Friday, I had the opportunity, the good fortune to meet with the chair and vice chair, and I was able to notify them of my intent to retire on August 31st, 2026. I will work with the committee wholeheartedly to ensure a smooth transition. I've been in education for over 32 years. 32 years, 27 here in Tyngsborough. I am excited about a new chapter in my life. I have no idea what that looks like. I have no idea what that is. My first step, I guess, is to create a LinkedIn profile, I guess. So we'll figure it out. But I am very thankful for my time here in Tyngsborough, and I look forward to what's ahead, the unknown. So thank you for that. Mr. Chair, I do know that you have a need for an executive session tonight, so.
We do, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. This will require a roll call vote. I'll seek a motion to enter executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Discussion? Executive session.
In favor.
In favor.
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor.
In favor.
Have a good night.